This year, the general theme for the director's lecture each month has been God created the world, ... And then we would major on special areas of the world and the universe that show the imprint of the hand of God. For instance, next month, our special guest will be Dr. Jerry Bergman. He's the publishing biologist for the biosphere. Dr. Bergman has 9 college degrees in science, and he's flying down from Michigan just to lecture for us. And he has not seen the new lab yet that is in process, and he's eager, Mike, to find the progress out on the biosphere. So you got 30 days. Okay. Yeah, you can handle it. He had his own lab 24 years with NASA. So 30 days, I'll just nod at you. Doing good, doing good. Way to go. All right, so a month from today, Dr. Jerry Bergman will be here. And his theme will be God created the world with man as a special creation. He's going to lecture on the creation of man, and some of his degrees are in medical science. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. But today, filling in for my guest that I was supposed to have, Frank DeFreitas, the holographer, God created the world, the light and the glory. It's been a special journey trying to get insight from science and especially Scripture on how we got where we are. So hang with me as we take a journey. The light and the glory. Introduction. The Scripture states, in the beginning, God. Now the Bible does not begin with an explanation for God because you can't explain God. He's beyond our comprehension. It is evident that He created all things from the data itself, and hopefully we'll get some of that data. And I'm not being philosophic, I'm being scientific. Design requires a designer. And late in the lecture, I'll give you just a slight introduction to some of the complexity in the DNA. There is no way that could have ever evolved. It had to be designed. So God cannot be explained. In the beginning, God. God not only requires no explanation because you can't explain Him, God requires no defense. I mean, He can handle the problem Himself. We're here to represent Him, but He doesn't require someone to stand up for Him. We have the privilege of doing so. He can do it quite well. He does it perfectly. But He does want ambassadors to speak for Him. Scripture begins, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Genesis 1 through 3. So here we have the statement of the personal God of creation, creating space-time dimension, creating earth as a sphere of water. On day number 3, He would place the rest of the elements, the dry land, and then create the first living systems, the plants. So here we have, on day number 1, God standing, embracing the sphere of water, and He said, let there be light, and there was light. Now, is that scientific? Now, science can't explain everything. In fact, if you are a good scientist, with the framework of science, you have to recognize that science cannot explain anything in its final format. Were you aware of that? Those who practice science never come, that is, secular science, never come to a final conclusion. It is a tenet, an understood tenet of science, that we can't know enough definitively to nail down anything in science. It is a research project in process. Now that's a surprise to most people. However, there is a source that does not depend on our discovery, our ability to experiment with, but depends upon the eyewitness account of the one who was there, that can give and does give absolute truth. And that is Scripture. Now hang on, and we'll try to justify that. So in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So can we demonstrate scientifically that that is possible given those conditions? Hang with me. Yes. We're going to do it this afternoon. But that's just the beginning. I want to give you the most profound, the most inclusive of all scientific statements that gives a final, conclusive definition, not a tentative assumption. Watch closely. It's written. In the beginning, that's time. God, that's ultimate force. Created, that's energy. The heaven, that's space. And the earth, that's mass. This constitutes information. Class, everything in the universe that we can experiment with, everything in the universe that we can examine, everything we can embrace or be embraced by is included in those 6 factors: time, force, energy, space, mass, information. It's all interrelated. And it's all in Genesis 1:1. That is the most profound, all-inclusive, definitive explanation for the universe on record.